Good afternoon, it's Super Sunday. Once again, it seems like we just did this not long ago. Today we're going to do something really special. This is a British tradition that always happens on Good Friday. People used to bake these little sweet rolls, about like that, and they put a cross on them, and those were called hot cross buns. Some of you, I don't know whether you remember the song, hot cross buns, 1 a penny, 2 a penny, hot cross buns. That's what they are, is hot cross buns. And they made them on Good Friday because Good Friday was the end of Lent. And then they could use all the milk and the butter and all kinds of rich things that they'd been staying away from for Lent. And so they made these cakes, and they were supposed to remind us of the crucifixion, when Jesus died, when he was in the tomb. Because the cross is on them, and then they've got a little spice in them. It's supposed to remind you of the embalming spices. They're really tasty, and they're really a fun treat. And so I have a friend that's going to teach us how to make them. JoAnn Cruse has offered to teach us how to make them, so she's going to make some for us. So I hope you have fun. This might be something you might want to do with your mom, your dad, maybe grandma, grandpa, maybe just a friend. But it's something we can all eat them. Some of us can make them, and some of us can eat them, and we can all help. So enjoy your hot cross buns.
Hot cross buns, 1 a penny, 2 a penny, hot cross buns. Give them to your daughters, give them to your sons. 1 a penny, 2 a penny, hot cross buns.
So before you get started, you can take your 1 cup of raisins and dump them into hot water and let them plump up for about 10 minutes. And then at 10 minutes is up, you can take your raisins, strain them, drain out that water, and you need them have them dry. So we're just going to put them here, spread them out a little bit, and we'll get some of that moisture off. You might need to use a couple of paper towels. And they'll be ready for when you need to add them later in the recipe. To begin with, you start with your 3/4 cup of whole milk, and you can use the 2% milk as well. And you're going to heat this up until it is about 110 degrees. You want it to be hot. So take the 3/4 cup of heated milk, one teaspoon of sugar, and a packet of your dry yeast, instant yeast, and you sprinkle this on top. And whisk it together. And let sit for 5 minutes. Your 5 minutes are up, and if you look closely, you'll see the bubbling from the yeast that was mixing with the milk and the sugar. So next we'll add our 1/2 cup of brown sugar. We have a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. There you go. We have 2 eggs. We have 5 tablespoons of butter. And these are at room temperature. And I'll cut into about 5 pieces. It's 5 tablespoons worth. And 1 cup of flour. And we have our other spices that we will add. We have 1.5 teaspoons of cinnamon. And I just shake that off there. 1. Oops, and a half. We have, a half teaspoon of allspice. Right there. And we have 1/2 half teaspoon of nutmeg. And we can't forget our 1 teaspoon of salt. All right, now that we have all that, we can start to mix this. How do I? Oh, look at that. For about 30 seconds. And that's about your 30 seconds. And we're going to add the rest of the flour, 1 cup at a time. All right. Cup number 2. Cup number 3. Another 1/2 cup. And you let that mix until it starts to pull it away from the side. Add in the raisins as well, so that they get mixed in nicely. And this beats for maybe up to 2 minutes until everything seems to be incorporated and the dough is going away from the side. This is coming along nicely. The dough should be sticky and soft. I think it's where we want it to be. And so we'll let it go for another 2 minutes, or you can knead this by hand on a counter. Done. I'm going to go ahead and lower this. And if you don't have a mixer like this with a paddle, you can do this by hand, but it's a lot more work. And you use a nice heavy spoon, and you'll knead that on a counter with flour in your hands. Next, we're going to go ahead and put this in a greased bowl. So we'll just do this. We'll just add a little on there just so that it's covered. This is going to be great. Okay, we'll take this off and pop that out. All right. We are going to get this off of here. And take this. Hopefully I don't drop this. We're going to pull that out. It's nice. It's going to be a little bit soft and sticky. And we'll put that into this bowl. Get the rest of this. Because it's the good stuff. And we'll kind of form a ball in there, and then we'll roll it around so that it gets oil on all sides of it. That's going to help it so it doesn't stick to anything. All right, so it's going to go in here. We're going to cover it and allow it to rise so it gets bigger for about 1 to 2 hours or until it's doubled in size. Now it's been about 2 hours and it's actually risen, so it's about almost double maybe what it was. That's a good sign. Now it's time to punch it down, and we're going to cut it up into 14 to 16 little individual pieces, and we'll make those into little round rolls, balls, and put those in a pan, and those will rise again. All right, now we're going to take this, and the reason that you oil that bowl is so that it comes out nice like that. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and punch this down. You can tell how soft it is. This is looking great. We're just going to knead it a little bit. It'll be about probably the size that it was before you put it in that bowl. And now we're just going to go ahead and cut it up. I'm just going to eyeball this. All right. Now that we've got these, we've got a baking pan here. We're going to form these into a smooth ball, like this. And if you kind of fold them on the bottom, then you just need to pinch them like this. We're going to put those over here. We'll do this to each one of these. These are then going to go back into a kind of a warm space, and they will then rise for another hour, and you'll see them get a little bit bigger. So we'll space them so that they're not right on top of each other, and I'll probably rearrange those also. We're going to take this and cover these now, and we'll put those in another warm place and let those rise for another hour until they're puffy. And then we'll be able to put the cross on it and bake them. All right, we're going to make the flour mixture to make the white cross on these. And you take a half a cup of the flour, and you take several tablespoons, and it says 6 to 8 tablespoons of water. We're just going to add some and get it started and see how thick it is before we add all of them. And you'll mix that up until it's the right consistency. Oh, we will need more water than that. Okay, it's getting better. It's a big gooey mass right now. See that? And what you're going to do is put it in a bag then and type it out like you would if you were going to do frosting. And I'm going to add a little bit more, as if you were going to put frosting on cupcakes or decorate something. So now that you've made your flour paste, you're going to put it in a bag, and you can use a Ziploc bag if you don't have a pastry bag, and you then make your cross. On each one of these. And this will bake while the rest of the bun is baking as well, because it's made out of flour and water. It's preheated up to 350 degrees. We've got our crosses piped on there. It goes in, close that door, and it's going to cook for about 20 to 25 minutes. We're going to put a little egg wash on them so that they get nice and darker brown and glossy. You can do that. We just took an egg and kind of scrambled it with a fork. And we're going to brush that on as quickly as we can here. And you'll see what it looks like when it comes out in a little bit. How it made it nice and glossy. Those are looking mighty fine. And we'll let those cool, and while they're cooling, we will make a nice orange glaze that can go over the top of it for just a little added sweetness. Now we're going to make the glaze, and it calls for 1 cup of powdered sugar and 3 tablespoons of orange juice. And I'm just going to squeeze the juice right into it. And you're just making a glaze. It's just going to be brushed on, but it'll give it a little bit of added sweetness. All right, now that we've got our glaze ready and these have cooled down a little bit, we're just going to brush this over the top to give them that little bit of sweetness. And you don't want to cover up that cross, but you do want that sweetness. Now this is a real test to see if they're good. I couldn't wait until Easter.
Hot cross buns, hot cross buns. 1 a penny, 2 a penny, hot cross buns. Hot cross buns, hot cross buns. 1 a penny, 2 a penny, hot cross buns. Give them to your daughters, give them to your sons. 1 a penny, 2 a penny, hot cross buns. Hot cross buns, hot cross buns. 1 a penny, 2 a penny, hot cross buns. Hot cross buns, hot cross buns. 1 a penny, 2 a penny, hot cross buns. Give them to your daughters, give them to your sons. 1 a penny, 2 a penny, hot cross buns.